One slap. That's all it takes. The arena goes silent. His opponent doesn't get back up. The fight is over before anyone realizes it started. Most people who become famous chase it deliberately, train for years, build their name through championships and rivalries. But one man became the most feared striker in power slap entirely by accident. He never wanted to be famous. He just had a gift that was impossible to ignore. They call him Dumpling. But nothing about him is soft. Vasilii Kamotskii grew up in Ilansky, Russia, a rural farming community where life moves slowly and winters are brutal. The kind of place where your future is predetermined. Work with your hands. That's what your father did. That's what you do. But nature gave Vasilii something extraordinary. By his teens, it was obvious. At 5'11", he carried weight differently than everyone around him. Round-faced, gentle eyes, the kind of appearance that makes people underestimate you. But underneath was something else entirely. He found his outlet in arm wrestling. Not the sport version, the street version. Massive men testing strength against each other for pride, and nothing else. Vasilii didn't just win. He dominated. People who competed against him described the same feeling. It was like pushing against a wall that had decided to push back. He wasn't thinking about fame. He was just a man with a gift, using it the only way he knew how. Then the internet changed everything. Russian slap fighting existed in the spaces between strongman competitions and agricultural fairs. Two competitors. One rule: open hand strikes until someone can't continue. No gloves, no protection, just power. Vasilii entered this world around 2018, and when he did, something shifted. The videos started appearing online, shot on phone cameras at outdoor events, rough audio, natural lighting. But the content was undeniable. A round-faced farmer delivering slaps that sent trained fighters unconscious, not staggering them, knocking them completely out. What made these videos spread was the contrast. Here was a man who looked friendly, approachable, the guy who'd help you move furniture. Then he'd wind up and deliver a slap that changed the entire fight in one moment. The juxtaposition was irresistible. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, every platform picked it up. By 2019, Vasilii Dumpling Kamotskii had generated hundreds of millions of views. He wasn't a trained fighter. He wasn't a celebrity. He was just the guy everyone wanted to see slap someone, because his slaps were different. Fighters were flying to Russia to challenge him. Crowds were growing. What had been a niche competition in rural Russia was becoming a global phenomenon. The videos kept spreading. More knockouts. More evidence that something unprecedented was happening. Then, someone important noticed. Dana White didn't create slap fighting. He saw what Dumpling had created entirely by accident and recognized an opportunity. Millions of people were watching. Millions were sharing. There was a global audience. In 2022, he launched Power Slap officially. Rules, referees, legitimacy. Dumpling was the obvious first choice. But bringing him to America wasn't simple. Vasilii had never competed in a sanctioned organization. The rules were different. The expectations were different. He'd be competing against fighters who trained specifically for this sport. He'd be leaving home, family, everything he'd ever known to compete in a country where he was a stranger. The obstacle wasn't physical. The obstacle was psychological. He'd been a local legend in Russia. Now he was coming to America, where the pressure to perform was immense. Where the entire world would watch to see if the viral videos were real or just internet hype. Many athletes crack under that pressure. Dumpling had to prove that his gift was real. His Power Slap debut in October 2024 was his answer. He didn't just win. He delivered a first-round knockout so devastating that it immediately answered every question about whether viral videos were real. One slap. That's all it took. But what makes Dumpling's slap different isn't just raw power. It's how he generates it. Traditional slap fighters generate power from their shoulder and arm. Dumpling generates it from his entire body. When he winds up, his hips rotate, his legs transfer weight, his core engages. By contact, he's accelerated 348 pounds of mass through a single point. That's not just a slap, that's a concussive strike delivered with heavyweight mechanics through an open palm. His hand is enormous. That distributes force differently than normal-sized opponents. It's spread across the entire face, creating a different shock to the system. Fighters who faced him describe something different than other power slap opponents. One said, "It's like someone hits you and your brain doesn't catch up with your body for a moment." The neurological impact is distinct. The rotational force combined with the surface area creates concussive trauma fighters aren't prepared for. By Power Slap 9, when he faced the Crazy Hawaiian Power Slap's established heavyweight champion, everyone wanted to know the same thing. Could Dumpling actually compete at the highest level? The fight lasted 3 rounds. He held his own against the sport's biggest star. Then came the rematch at Power Slap 11. This time, something shifted. His timing improved. His technique evolved. He'd trained. He'd studied. He was no longer just relying on raw power, he was becoming a thinking fighter. He lost, but barely. The decision was controversial. Some believed Dumpling had actually won. What became undeniable was that Dumpling's power was real. His technique was evolving. His presence in Power Slap changed how other fighters approached the sport. Suddenly, withstanding his slap wasn't just about toughness, it was about understanding the physics of impact. He'd made the entire sport reconsider what was possible. By June 2025, at Power Slap 13, the narrative had shifted. Dumpling was no longer the unproven viral sensation. He was ranked 3 in super heavyweight, the fighter other competitors didn't want to face. But then reality introduced something he couldn't slap away: defeat. At Power Slap 13, he faced the Hawaiian Hitman and lost by majority decision. Close, split scorecards. But he lost. For most viral sensations, a loss like that would be devastating. The myth broken, the hype exposed. But for Dumpling, it meant something different. It meant he was real. It meant he was human. The story wasn't undefeated farmer conquers combat sports. It was something more complex. A man who became famous by accident, dealt with that pressure, proved he belonged on the world stage, and then discovered that belonging doesn't mean winning all the time. The record is solid, but not dominant. Not the undefeated legend, but something more nuanced. A fighter who rose from complete obscurity to become one of the most feared names in Power Slap. Dumpling didn't change combat sports by becoming a champion. He changed it by proving that an entire discipline could go viral because of one man's raw power and the internet's appetite for authentic spectacle. Before Dumpling, slap fighting was a curiosity in rural Russia. After Dumpling, it became a global sport with a television deal and mainstream recognition. That happened because he was talented enough to be devastating, but accessible enough to be authentic. Even with losses on his record, he remains one of the most dangerous slaps in the sport. Other fighters still fear him, because they know what happens when his hand finds their face. One slap. That's all it took. Now we understand why the arena goes silent. It's not just because someone has been knocked down. It's because they've witnessed something rare, a man with a gift so specific, so devastating, that it changed an entire sport without ever meaning to. Vasilii Kamotskii was supposed to be a farmer in rural Siberia. He was supposed to have a quiet life. He was supposed to disappear into existence where nobody outside his village ever knew his name. Instead, the internet found him. Power Slap signed him. The world learned his nickname. He became the man everyone in slap fighting knows they might have to face. Some fighters build their legacy through championships, some through rivalries, some through years of consistent performance. Dumpling built his through something simpler. One slap at a time.